Hey guys, welcome to my spoiler review. Well, full review, but it does include spoilers, so if you don't want to know spoilers about this, you should probably look away now. Are you still here? Okay, cool, let's keep going. Alright, so this is my spoiler full review of The Witcher that has just recently dropped. I believe it was 3 days ago now. I know I'm late. I'm sorry. I tried to binge watch the entire 8 episodes, which is what we got, full 8 episodes. I believe they were 1 hour long episodes each, which was pretty friggin' decent for a Netflix series. I guess that's probably why we got less episodes. Normally you'll see about 12 to 13 on a standard binge Netflix kind of series, or original Netflix series. Netflix originals as they're called. But we got 8 full episodes, 1 hour long episodes, pretty decent, and they went pretty well. So anyway, this is my review on that. Now, I tried to binge watch it like I said. I got through like 6 episodes the first night as soon as it came out and dropped, and it was awesome. It was riveting. It was great. But I'll get into that in the rest of the review as we go on. So let me just start off first of all by saying the main reason that I watched this, which is probably the main reason that most people were intrigued enough to actually give this show a go, is of course Henry Cavill. That's what it is. I was gonna be like, it's a bird, it's a plane, but anyway, it is Henry Cavill. So he was cast obviously, and I did a reaction actually on my other channel a long time ago when he was actually cast, and I was not a fan of him being the Witcher. I was not a fan of it at all. And quite frankly, as the progression of the show developed prior to production, I saw, we saw the still shots of like Henry with the blonde white situation going on, and we saw the teaser of him. I think he was drinking something. There was a teaser that came out of him drinking something, and like, it just wasn't very good. It wasn't very good, you guys. Come on now. Like, I feel like a lot of people would agree with me on that. But it did not give me hope for it to be a good show. It didn't seem promising. And of course, a lot of people, I think probably like me, because Superman is such a beloved character, and a lot of us love Henry Cavill. I love how I'm saying we, like there's someone here. I love Henry Cavill as Superman. And sometimes I think a lot of people, when they love a character so much, they tend to only see that actor in that character. I don't think everybody does that, and I'm sure like people enjoy watching an actor play different roles. Of course, that's for their job. But sometimes you love a character so much that you don't want to see them in another role. So for me, I'm a fan of Cavill, but to see him as Geralt, oh god, I hope I don't pronounce it wrong and I get a bunch of comments that are like, it's Geralt. Anyway, not that I would know that through text, just spelling it out. I could already see the comments spelling it out. Geralt. Anyway, so yeah, I couldn't really picture him in it. It didn't look promising, but guys, let me tell you, I am very pleasantly surprised. It was awesome. It was really, really good. Like, it wasn't like the best thing ever. Like, this is my, my Jesus show. Like, I swear by, like, it was good though. It was very good. So of course we've got Henry Cavill playing Geralt. I really fucking hope I'm pronouncing it right. So he plays Geralt, which is obviously the lead character. This show is based off of the books. They are obviously, well, if you don't know, there are novels, and this show is based off of those novels. There's also, as I'm sure most people are more familiar with, a video game series of The Witcher. It's called The Witcher. Now, I've not played any of the video games. I've not seen, and I'm wearing a PlayStation shirt. I've not played the games. I'm sorry. I haven't played the games, and I haven't seen anything with the games, and I've not read the novels. So I think a bunch of people were going in this completely blind because of Cavill. So there was a lot riding on this show, and I think especially with Cavill as an actor, because he had the biggest fan base that was drawing in people. I'm sure there was a percentage of people that were probably fans of a show in the similarity of it. So basically a show like Game of Thrones. So people that may have been fans of Game of Thrones may also want to give this sort of gritty fantasy, old-timey show a chance because of that. So, but I think definitely Cavill was the pull. I think that he had a lot riding on this. So it needed to be good. And kudos to him for picking the project because it is good. It is really freaking good. The writing is good. I like I enjoyed the script. I think for the most part it was pretty well done. It has some absolutely gorgeous, beautiful shots. The cinematography in general, the way it was shot, the location, just the angles that they use, the way they move the camera. I think for the most part it was well shot. But there were some stunning still shots and in scenes where it just lingers as a backdrop of some gorgeous forest or mountain or something like that, and it was really, really well done, really beautiful. The monsters I didn't like so much. I'm waiting for some more creativity in season 2. I'm hoping for it to look more realistic, because I felt like they looked too animation-y, like, is that a word? It is now. I feel like they just didn't look very realistic. And if you're gonna have something, and I know it's fantasy, it's a fantasy world, but if you're gonna have something translating from writing to the big screen, and it's written a certain way, you know, when you have people from the fan base of the novels that have this, you know, version in their head that they've imagined, I think that you have to really try hard to make it almost exactly how that would be in terms of that, as well as obviously the main characters. But I think with the main characters, you can sort of mold them to be more of your interpretation of that character, because it is obviously based off the books, but it's not supposed to be exactly like the books. However, I think if you're going to pull creatures out, I think they should be done a little bit better. That's just my opinion. Again, though, I've not read the books, so for all I know, they've just made up these creatures themselves, which I doubt, but they've made up these creatures themselves, and then at the end of the day, it still doesn't look as good as I would expect it to look. And everything else was very well done. The costume design was very well done. I think, like I said, the backdrops, the environment that they chose, the shots that they used, I think were very well done. The action sequences and the deaths were sick. And I mean that in both awesome and also kind of situation. They were it was very Game of Thrones. The first episode for me was very Game of Thrones. I've seen one episode of Game of Thrones, which was the first episode. And in Game of Thrones, in the first episode, someone gets beheaded. Now, of course, when you're going into the medieval fantasy realm, you're going to expect a certain amount of, well, beheading, and of course there's sword fight, so, you know, you're going to expect it to be either very, like, very gruesome or very swordplay-ish, and more skillful rather than the gore of it all. This show, though, if you're not into gore, this show is pretty friggin' gritty. It does not fuck around. It takes you straight into the action, and it gives you exactly what it would be like, I think. And it can be disturbing at times, but I thoroughly enjoyed it because it was freaking great. It was great. I want more of it. I want more killing. It was so good. And also the action sequences, the choreography of I feel like the action was actually very well done as well. I found it believable, and for the most part, obviously believable, and I really liked it. And I think Henry Cavill did a good job, because honestly, like in the trailer before the show dropped, when we were seeing him with the sword action in the fight, which you actually see obviously in the full fight in the show, I was not impressed again. I felt like he was too slow wielding the sword, and it came off like very heavy for him. And it was weird because Henry's a big bulk boy, and his attire I wasn't always a fan of the attire. So I think though when it finally was shot and cut and everything was done, I quite enjoyed and understood better the uniform, if you will. So I'm going to say also that there are obviously, and this is a spoiler of course, that there are 3 main characters, main leads. Now I think most people, again, going into this blind would just assume that it's all revolving around Geralt and the other people are just side characters with side stories that don't really show a formed character or any depth to them. But contrary to that, it's actually not the case. There actually are 3 main lead characters, 2 being female. So Henry Cavill obviously plays the Witcher, Geralt, and then there is Yennefer and also Ciri. And at the start of it, when you sort of see Ciri's character and how it entwines with Geralt. God, it's hard. You kind of feel like, Ciri, find Geralt. And then as you're progressing, and you see how much more involvement, because the character storylines sort of play out like the arc just opens as the show progresses, and I think it was pretty well done. I think it was well paced. It wasn't too much at the start or sloppy in the middle and then a shitty ending. It was very well done. I was a little bit confused because what they've done in this show is they've done parallel or alternate timelines and time switches. So you're in the past and then you're in the present and then you're going back, and it's doing that between 3 main characters. So you see the progression and, or I guess almost like the origin story of some of these characters in how they develop, and it's a little hard to follow at times, I'm not going to lie. And it's not because I think that it was intended that way, but I think a few people might have some trouble following it. I did at times. At times I was confused as fuck. Not gonna lie, I was confused as fuck. I was like, what is going on? And then like by episode, I think 4 or 5, I was just like, Ciri, find Geralt. So that's how I felt about it. And yeah, it was a good show though. It was well done. I'm looking forward to season 2, definitely. In terms of the characters themselves and how they were portrayed, I think Cavill did a good job. I was a little bit annoyed, and I know that this is, I believe, a character trait, but he bothered me, like that deep, like raspy, God, that must have been hard for Cavill to do. I give him credit for that. But to get his voice right, to have that deep tone was the whole time was very interesting to me. It was really funny hearing him swear, because I've never heard Cavill swear. I've only seen him as Superman. I didn't watch him in Mission Impossible. I've only seen Henry Cavill as Superman. And then obviously I've watched interviews and stuff, and he's, nothing but polite and pleasant and, a model interview basically. So I've never heard him swear. So as I watched him as Geralt, it was all I could see was, I was like, oh my god, Henry Cavill just said fuck. But he doesn't say fuck, he says fuck. Like, it's just like, it's so funny the way he says it. And he's got kind of like, Henry Cavill himself, I believe he's British or English. So his accent kind of comes through with Geralt. Obviously more than I've ever seen it come through. As Clark Kent, obviously he has an American accent. In this one, he's got, I don't know what it is. I feel like maybe I'm nitpicking or I'm the only one who's noticed this, but I feel like Henry Cavill's accent at times kind of was going a little bit back and forth, trying to get Geralt down. I feel like in season 2, hopefully he'll have it down better, but it was just going a little back and forth at times for me. It's like he wasn't really English, because then he kind of sounded American, and then he went back to English, and it just throughout like a sentence I could see the change in moments, and it was just that's something I'd nitpick on. And the thing that I didn't like, which I was mentioning, that is I think a character trait of The Witcher, is that he kind of just grunts, like a thinking grunt. Like he just sits there and he often does it, and he would just be like, like like a fucking giant, ready to like feed me. Like, I don't know. That's what it reminded me of. He would just grunt and kind of like a thinking way, and it was a little disturbing, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, stop doing that, just get on with it. Stop grunting and everything. So yeah, his character though, I think that I was conflicted with his character. I don't know if I would really relate to his character or feel sympathy, because again, for someone who doesn't know what a Witcher is, it was quite an interesting way of them explaining it, and I feel as though they haven't fully explained it though, so there's still a lot left to discover, I believe, but I feel like they gave you enough to get the gist of what a Witcher is, and they don't really have good or bad emotions from what I gathered. So it was hard because, you know, I think a lot of people have the whole good guy hero complex with lead characters, and Cavill's character isn't really either or. He's not really the villain, but he's not really the hero either. He has moments of doing what I think is the right thing and what I think he thinks is the right thing, but I don't know why he's doing it if he doesn't feel really much of anything. But like sometimes the way he's portrayed his character is like he does though. He's invested and it's emotional for him. Like the scene where he saves the girl and then she tells him to leave, and he just looks so upset. You can see his face. He looks like a wounded puppy, and you know. But I think I understand, because it's necessary to show some emotion to sort of mold his story and to sort of show you then where he gets to in the point of his life and why he is the way that he is really. And the same goes for Yennefer's character as well. Those two mainly, I think. Yennefer's character, you know, starts off as basically a hunchback who is treated like absolute crap and is living in like a pig pen, and her family is not really her family. It's just, I felt really sorry for her. I liked how they did her character though. I think it was very well done, and she was probably my favorite sort of monster kind of character than the actual monsters were. I think that she was really well done, and I think that they sort of fleshed her out more in that beginning than they did when she had her transformation. By the way, that transformation scene, oh boy, there was a lot going on. It was disturbing, but I found it very interesting though. I think that was a really cool scene. In terms of scenes that stood out to me, that was a really cool scene. And then Ciri, of course, is our third character, who's younger, and she is the grandchild of the queen, who has special powers, and how that is all going to intertwine with Geralt's character, I don't know, but like I said, she's, you know, you see her looking for him and trying to find him, and that's her journey basically, and she doesn't know really what's going on or what she's capable of, and I think that her development is going to be shown much more in season 2, whereas Geralt and Yennefer's stories were shown a lot more in this first season. So I think the second season is going to be way more it's going to revolve a lot more around Ciri and her I guess transformation, because I feel like she's going to turn into a very crazy powerful person. So I think it's going to be really interesting. But yeah, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really liked it. I think if you guys have any interest in that sort of old-timey, medieval, you know, fantasy, witchcraft, dragons, lots of nudity, there was a lot. I think you'll really enjoy this. So yeah, let me know down below in the comments if you enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it yet, I've just spoiled everything, but maybe you're one of those people that still watch it anyway. But let me know what you guys thought about it, and if you're looking forward to season 2, because I am, and just your general opinion and feedback. I'd love to hear it. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to smack that like button. I'd appreciate it. And if you want to see more content or reviews or uploads like this, just let me know again in the comments what you would like me to review, and I might consider doing that for you. So thanks again for watching. Until next time, guys. See you later.